All right, so Josiah asked me a great question in the comments, and so I want to make sure that I answer it. So thank you, Josiah, for asking this. He asked me, should you, as a new home inspector, start on your own, or should you start working up under another company? Let me know in the comment if you've had that same question too. I think it's a question that a lot of people would have. And so that's why I want to make this video to sort of break it down. So a lot of people think that the hardest part is passing the exam. And don't get me wrong, it does take work to pass the exam, but the hardest part is figuring out what to do after you've passed the exam because again, I've made plenty of videos talking about how poor the education is, and there's no real mentorship or guidance on how to go from, okay, I passed my test, got my license, my certification, whatever, and I'm ready to start. You have to sort of piece that together. And so it's like, you know, um, do I start my own company? Do I go work under somebody else? Do I try to get right along experience? Do I try to shadow somebody? And there's no one perfect answer. It really depends on you. Each person is different. Your personality, your finances, your confidence level, your business skills, just how your life is set up. And so that's why I think it's important to have the information so you can take the information and then based upon your circumstances, you can come to the best decision for you. Um, if you are acting as an independent home inspector, everything is on you. You are running a real business. You managing all the risk. You have to communicate with all of the clients. You writing all of the reports. You dealing with the agents. You scheduling. You marketing. You handling the money. Um, you making all of the judgment calls. So everything is on you. So let's talk about first. Let's talk about starting on your own. Me personally, I think a lot of people can start on their own. If, type if in the chat, if you have invested in quality education and coaching. If that's a big fat if, because most people don't. They go the cheapest route just to say they got certified, and then they don't know what they talk about, and they don't know what they do, know what they're doing. So if you have invested in quality education and coaching, I think that you can start on your own. Most people are nowhere near prepared enough. Technically, a lot of people, again, they skip the education part. It really bothers me because this is so important. You are looking over a home for a family who potentially could be there for the next 30 years, and you are the only person there qualified to speak to the safety of the home. And so it's very serious business. And so I don't know why so many people just look over and want to skip or shortchange the education part. They want to try to shortcut that process. They think they can watch a couple videos, click through a course, and boom, and they're ready. And you're not. You have to understand the 10 major systems of a home and all of the components and how they work, not just identifying them, but understanding them, how they work, how they're installed, what makes them fail, what defects look like, what is serious, what's the safety issue, what's normal, like all of these things you're responsible for knowing. So this is not something that you can shortchange. But if you do know all of that stuff, um, again, I believe that you could go out on your own. Once you get out there though, you got to know that there's nobody coming to save you. If you miss something, if you miss an issue, that's your name on the report and it's your responsibility. And so let's talk about some of the cons, the uphill battle of starting on your own. You have to build your own business and brand starting out yourself from scratch. You have to take on all of the marketing. Most people don't know how to market for real. You have to front all of the money. You have to buy all of the tools, all of the equipment, all of that stuff is on you. Now the upside of starting on your own is you will definitely learn the business faster. You get to control your own pricing, your own scheduling. You build your own relationships. You're not splitting your money with anybody else. So again, there are pros or cons. You always learn quicker when your own money and bleep is on the line. You pay attention differently. So that is that's what I like. And that's because I know how I'm gonna show up. Um, you are Most people don't talk about the mental pressure of this. You're trying to inspect, you gotta think, you gotta take photos, you got to write comments. You got to keep everything organized. You can't miss anything important, and that's a lot of pressure, especially for most people coming from a job where they're not used to really having any pressure. They just, do whatever every single day without any real, you know, implications to their job. And so, um, because of that pressure, a lot of people say, I need to go work for another company first because they think that working for another company is going to somehow help them build their confidence, I guess is what they think. I disagree with that. I don't necessarily think the way that you're going to build your confidence is by doing inspections. And the faster that you can get inspections done, the more reps that you can get, the more confident that you will be. Okay. So that's working on your own. Let's talk about working for another company. This is where a lot of inspectors get trapped. If I'm being honest, it's like being a new artist, and you sign a bad deal. They get excited. They okay, I want to go again, build my confidence, work for somebody. Um, they don't realize though that these companies are setting themselves up for the win while you do all of the labor. And I mean smaller companies. And it's not a knock against them. It's just business. And that's why you need to be aware of it. There are definitely good companies out there, some companies that genuinely train people, that will genuinely, mentor you, help you build your confidence. Some companies that do give you access to the tools and software and marketing and all of that kind of stuff, and steady work, most importantly, which can be very valuable, especially if you are strapped for cash, like you need money quickly, if you are not confident, if you struggle with the business side or you don't even want to be involved with that, then working with somebody else can be very, very valuable, like no doubt about it. Here's what I want you to consider. Number one, non-compete agreements. This is huge. This is what I mean about signing a bad deal. Some companies will literally put in your agreement, basically, if you stop working here, you cannot inspect within 100 miles for 2 or 3 years. So think about that. You spend years in your home market building relationships and rapport with the different realtors while you're working up under them, building experience. Then you decide, okay, I feel good now. I want to go out on my own. And then suddenly, because it is not a compete agreement, you can't even work in your home market. That's very dangerous, especially in this business. Your local home market is everything. You're not about to travel to work. So you got to really be mindful of what the agreement is. Again, you got to think this company is looking out for themselves. They're not, you aren't their priority, just naturally so. It's business. Second thing you got to look out for is the pay split. You need to understand the numbers. Are they paying hourly? Are they paying salary? Are they paying commission? Is there a split? And if they're split, what exactly are they providing? Because if you got to drive your own car, if you got to buy your own tools, using your own gas, if you taking all the risk, doing the entire inspection, writing the whole report, and they just basically feeding you the leads and taking a huge percentage, you know what that relationship sounds like. You got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Some companies will push like volume, they give you a terrible split, but say, you're gonna do 2 inspections a day, every Monday through Friday. And it's like, I don't know. Like that's a lot, you know. So these are all things that you have to consider. Another thing, the third thing, the insurance and the liability. Again, who's covering the insurance? Because if you're in a regulated state and you have to have your license, you have to have insurance. So do you have to carry an individual? Do you do they cover that, or are you adding on? Like, how does that work? Whose name is on the report? What happens if there's a claim? Do they train you? Do they review? Do they help you get better or improve? Um, do you operate under their system? Do you have to figure out your own system? A lot of companies are just hiring people because they need bodies. They're not necessarily trying to develop you as an inspector. You got to think about it. It's unfortunate, but a lot of these home inspection companies look at a new person like your competition. It's the craziest thing to me. I will never understand how somebody, if I've been doing this thing and I got you by 5, 10 years, how in the hell could you possibly be competition to me? But that's how a lot of them think. So it's like their goal is not to necessarily help you develop into the type of inspector that could go off on your own. They just need you to keep doing inspections for them. So you have, and again, like I said, everybody's not like that, but this is stuff that you have to consider and have to keep in mind. Um, let's talk about the ride-alongs because this conversation is sort of related to what I was just saying. This industry has a serious education problem. A lot of inspectors, again, do not want to help new people. They're already little to no educational, real viable educational options out there, especially if you are a non-traditional inspector, meaning you don't come from a background in the trades and you haven't been working construction all of your life. Where are you supposed to go outside of inspector flow to learn this game? Tell me. Let me know in the comments. Where are you supposed to go? You know? And again, it's a shame that the people with experience in the industry look at new inspectors as competition. You know, it's like if I help you, somehow you're gonna take business from me. So they ice people out. They gatekeep the information. They won't let people shadow. They won't answer questions, and honestly, I think it's really unfortunate. And I think we need to talk more about that. But that's another conversation for um another day. A lot of people, here's the other side of it though, too. A lot of people who are asking for ride alongs or who want to ride along or shadow you or go on an inspection with you are not prepared at all. And this is important. You can't learn how to inspect a house just from walking around watching me do it. You know what I mean? You can't. If you have to already have an understanding of the 10 major systems. Remember, I kept saying that. If you don't already understand the systems, you just following somebody around, like watching them, you basically confused. You don't know what nothing is, how nothing works. For 2 or 3 hours, you won't know what you're looking at, why it matters, what defect they're identifying. That's why education matters first, even before shadowing could even really help you. You got to already know the roofing basics, the electric basics, the structural basics, so that going out doing ride alongs and shadowing and mocks and all of that will even be able to help you. And you can, if you come out and don't know what you're talking about, a person, again, if they're actually doing an inspection, they can't teach you. You know what I mean? It's like they're like, no, you can't come with me. It's just it's extra. You know what I mean? It's just a distraction. No, so you have to keep that in mind too. Um, you have to prioritize education first. And again, I keep like that's the part that people just some of y'all watching this video right here, right now, thinking that you about to, as many videos as I drop, you thinking that you gonna figure out how to be a home inspector from watching my videos. And it just don't work like that. Like I can't teach you all of this. I mean, I probably could if I really tried in some YouTube videos, but that's not what my point is that you have to actually invest time and attention into learning the 10 major systems of a home and how everything is constructed. That's when the ride along becomes valuable. That's when you become valuable. That's when people start to see you as more, you know what I mean, of an equal, and it's not taken away from me. So um a lot of people again want to skip to the field work because they think that I learn best by seeing. I gotta be there. I gotta see it. I gotta touch it. You don't know what you're seeing. You don't know what you're touching. So it's hard to connect the dots. And I've taught, you know, lots and lots of people from across the country. It doesn't work like that. It works best when you educate first and then you go out into the field and do your ride along. So if you're asking me what I recommend, here is my honest answer. There's no perfect route. Some people should start on their own. Some people should work up under somebody in and be mindful and careful about what that relationship look like. Um, Everybody should seek to get mentorship or coaching. You need to pay for it. You need to pay to be able. Imagine if you could call me, or we had regular sessions where I could walk you through each. This is what you do. Go and do it. Come back. Okay, this is what you do next. This is how you get better here. This is how you increase. You need to pay for that. Do you hear what I said? Right now, like the video, if you heard what I said, hit the like button. You need to pay for coaching and or mentorship. You need to have that. Again, this is one of those independent solo industries. You need somebody that you can go to and quickly get put on game. Otherwise, you'll be making a bunch of mistakes, chasing a tail, staying in the same spot. I know most inspectors, I ain't gonna go there. That's another video for another day. You heard what I said. Okay. So, but regardless of the route that you choose, educate yourself first. Learn the systems first. Understand the business. Read any paperwork. If you need help with it, get some. Ask questions. Always think about the liability. Always think about the dollars and the cents. Don't look for shortcuts. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Okay. This is one of those things where what you don't know, what you don't look into can absolutely hurt you financially and legally. Okay. So I think I've said my piece on that. Josiah, let me know how I did, if this answers your question. If y'all have questions, drop them in the comments. I think I like this method of just dropping a video to explain it. It's a lot easier to get my full thought out. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button right freaking now. Go and check out another video. Go look at the home inspector hacks playlist. I got tons of education training there. Drop your comments in the chat. I'll make some more videos answering it. Peace.